Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Look who is back after a 3-week hiatus. Greg Burley's here. You happy to be back?
I'm happy to be back, but those folk watching might not be happy.
Third defeat in a row for Manchester United in the pre-season. 3-2 it would end for Borussia Dortmund. They've got a big season ahead for themselves too. But let's now welcome in Stuart Robson and Shaka Hislop. Great to have you guys with us. Stuart, given that you were on the call for this game, is it a cause for concern, Manchester United losing, giving the ball away like they have been in these friendlies?
Yeah, giving the ball away, trying to play out from the back and not doing it particularly well, that's going to be a problem. They can't give goals away as cheaply as they did last night. Obviously, Maguire was involved in one, Lindelof was involved in another, Wan-Bissaka right at the end there playing a ball across, which was never going to find a Manchester United player. But because they spread so much and they try and make the pitch as big as possible, when they do give the ball away in bad areas, then they're counter-attacked so easily. Because in the first half, it was a second-string Manchester United team. They were the better side and should have gone in, you know, maybe two or three up. But Dortmund had those two chances near the end of the first half and scored the goals. You have to remember one of those games you're talking about was against Wrexham, one of the losses where they played their kids.
OK, fair enough. But big talking point coming from this one, as we just take a look at Manchester United friendly results, was the fact, Shaka, that Andre Onana definitely been making his presence felt, and there was that spicy exchange between himself and Harry Maguire, although I think it was a little bit more one-sided. Is that OK with you?
Yeah, I don't have a problem at all. Listen, I've felt that Manchester United have needed leadership and leadership from the back. And certainly as a goalkeeper, when the ball found the back of the net, I thought that was the wrong time for this kind of reaction, to highlight a defensive mistake. When it doesn't score, I think that's the perfect time to be very vocal. Because now you send the messages, now you set those standards that everybody has been talking about. So Onana's reaction, I don't have a problem with, given the fact, again, that it didn't score, and given the fact that Manchester United are just so in desperate need of leadership. And then when you look at the goals they conceded, you see exactly why I think Onana felt he needed to be as vocal as he was.
Here's something that's not breaking news. And as nice a man as Shaka Hislop is, even he shouted at defenders, right? Goalkeepers have done this for an eternity. You go back to, and let's just stay with Man United, for example, and one of their great eras under Sir Alex, when Peter Schmeichel was one of the top goalkeepers in the world. He would berate, I mean, I think him and Roy Keane might have had some fisticuffs at some point. I'm sure him and Pallister and him and Steve Bruce and him and whoever else was in there, he was berating defenders all the time, Peter Schmeichel, because it was standards. It was standards at that time. And so this is no surprise. I've played in teams where, you know, goalkeepers come rushing out shouting at everybody just because a shot comes in from 25 yards and nobody's closed the ball down because they're wanting their midfielders and their defenders to go and do their job. And so this is normal. Now, if a player, and I'm not suggesting Harry Maguire is upset by this, I don't know. But if a player, particularly a defender, can't absorb a goalkeeper shouting at him, he might as well pack his boots away and go home. So here we have a new era for Man United in goal. We have a very confident and very good younger goalkeeper who is not frightened to let people know when standards have dropped. And that's normal. And listen, why wait till the Premier League starts before you start dishing it out? Do it now. Do it in the summer and make sure people are on their toes. This is no different to 10 years ago, 20 years ago or 25. Peter Schmeichel at Man United was one of the most vocal, and it seems Onana in goals is going to be of a similar vein. Harry
Maguire, should he leave Manchester United?
I think he should. But this sort of holding on to this, playing for this big club and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I'm confused sometimes by Ten Hag's rhetoric and, you know, what's coming out of the Maguire camp and blah, blah, blah. As a player, I think you've got to come to the conclusion as a player that you're only going to play as a fill-in for injuries or for players that are tired, or like in the Carabao Cup or in limited occasions. And when you're an England international who's played in a World Cup semi-final, a European Championship final, as Harry Maguire has, you've got to have a wee bit more self, you know, I don't know what. You've got to have You've got to have a little bit more about you to say, no, I'm just going to sit about... And I hear all this, I'm going to play for my place. He's not going to get his place, right? He's not going to get his place in this United team. I think it's good for United if he stays, because it's an extra body in the squad, and I don't know what the boys think, but he's not a bad player. He's made some mistakes. He's had some topsy-turvy times. I think it's good for United as long as there's not a problem in the dressing room that he stays, and I think that would work for Ten Hag. I just don't think it works for the player. I don't understand why hanging on to playing for this club while you're second or third string centre-back. And don't forget, he's only really going to play if there's a problem on the left side of the centre-back. On the right side, because when there's been a problem on the left side, he put Luke Shaw as a left-footed player, so he wants a left-footed player at the left centre-back position to come out with the ball. So really, he's looking at getting game time if something happens to one player. And come on, you've got to have a bit more about you than that.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.